Welcome! My name is Amanda, and I'm one of the children's librarians at the Thomas Crane Public Library in Quincy, Massachusetts. This video is part of our DIY Children's Program resources. For more program resources, as well as ebooks, streaming movies, TV, music, and much more, please visit thomascranelibrary.org. Today, we're going to do an activity about the rock cycle. In our last video, we talked about the water cycle. There's a rock cycle too. Over time, and with the right conditions, rocks can change from one form to another. There are three different categories of rocks: sedimentary, metamorphic, and igneous. Sedimentary rocks are made up of lots of little bits of things like sand or dirt, just pressed together really tightly over time until they become one solid whole. Metamorphic rocks are similar to sedimentary sometimes in that they can be made of lots of little things, but there's been more time, more pressure, and more importantly, some heat to meld them all together to an even more solid piece. Sedimentary rocks, you can look at them closely and see all the bits and pieces and chip them away. Metamorphic rocks are more solid. Now, the third type of rock is igneous. And while metamorphic rocks and sedimentary rocks can go back and forth, becoming each other as bits of the sedimentary rocks break away and bits of the metamorphic rocks break away and press back together as sedimentary, igneous rocks require much more heat. Both sedimentary and metamorphic rocks can melt when exposed to enough heat, like the heat that is down deep below the Earth's crust. Over time, the rocks will melt, forming magma. When that magma forces its way through the surface of the Earth's crust, that's a volcano and comes out as lava. When that lava cools, we get igneous rocks. Now, today, we're going to be using crayons to go through the different stages of rocks. We're going to get together our supplies. You're going to need some crayons. You're going to need a small pencil sharpener that you can collect the shavings from. You're going to want to shave your crayons. Keep the different colors distinct. There's a reason for that. Next, you're going to need some paper to hold your shavings on. I'm using some cupcake cups. And then you're going to need some tin foil, some tongs, or another way to hold the tin foil at a distance. And you're going to need a hairdryer. Once we've got everything together, let's get started. Now that we've got everything together, we can get started. We're not going to use the blow dryer right away, so we'll put it to the side. We're going to need the tongs about the same time that we need the blow dryer, so we'll put those aside too. Now, I've shaved some crayons. You can use a pencil sharpener to do this, or you can get an adult to help you use some other means. We do want them to be pretty fine pieces. We don't want little chunks. I've used several different colors: blue, yellow, red, and green. We want the colors to be pretty distinct. Now take your tinfoil, spread it out nice and flat. We're going to start with one color and make our first layer. We don't want to be mixing the colors up. We want these layers to be pretty distinct. You'll see why after we make our first rock. Add some of each color that you want to use, piling them on top of each other. You'll notice that pile gets pretty big. It'll be a lot smaller by the time we make it into a rock. Now that I have all four colors, I'm going to fold up my tin foil. We want to fold it up so that it's right up against where the crayon shavings are. Make a nice, tight package. You're going to have to fold it several times over. You see how every time I fold it, I'm making sure to get nice and tight. I don't want any of the wax bits to escape. Now that we've folded it up, we're going to press it really hard.
You can use the palm of your hand, you can use your fingers, you could use a book, anything that presses it nice and hard. Once we've pressed it a whole lot, we'll unfold our package and see what we've made. This is our sedimentary rock. You'll notice when you unfold it that it comes apart very easily. It looks like it's all one piece, but as you try to bring it up, pieces will break off. It's very flaky, and you can still see all of the different colors as separate pieces. Let's fold it up again and add some heat. I've folded it up, and now it's time for the blow dryer. I've set the blow dryer to hot. That will make things go faster. You could set it to warm, but it will take longer for it to heat up the wax inside the foil. This is also when we need our tongs, so that we don't burn our fingers while we're holding the tinfoil under the hot air. You're going to turn on your blow dryer and hold your foil packet right in front of where the air is blowing. This will make the wax inside melt. Now that I have heated it up and pressed it again really hard, it's time to unfold and see what we've made. Remember how last time the rock broke apart really easily and you could see all the little bits still coming apart? Well, the metamorphic rock is going to be very similar, but hold its shape a little better. You'll notice that it all came up in one sheet, and while it still does break apart, when you look at your own, you'll notice it's shinier and has some of the lines from where the tinfoil made little creases. You'll also notice that while we can still see all the little bits, some of them might have mixed together a little bit. Metamorphic rocks are like the sedimentary rocks, but a little more solid. And as they break apart, they're going to become sedimentary again, unless they get melted down and become igneous rocks. So we're going to gather all of our bits up together again, move them into the middle of our foil, and then we're going to take our foil and fold it into a bowl. You're going to crunch it all together around your crayon bits. You don't want it to be very big because you're going to be holding this over the blow dryer as well. If you make it too big, the air coming out of the blow dryer will blow it away. You may also want to leave a little bit at one side for a spout. Now that I have my bowl, I'm going to use my tongs to hold it. When I put it over my blow dryer, you can see as the hot air heats the tinfoil, it will melt the crayon shavings inside. Look at all that wax turning into liquid. You want to be careful with this and have some paper down or be working somewhere where you won't mind getting some liquid wax. As my wax turns into liquid, see how it tips out of my foil, and now we have our igneous rocks. I got a little wax on my paper. I got some on my table too. You'll want to make sure you have an adult with you while you try this project. Now that it's cooling down again, we have igneous rock in what was our volcano and on the surface. Look at that color. It's very different from any of the colors we started with, but that's the same wax, just all mixed together. Look around at the rocks you have in your yard and maybe down at the beach. Let us know if you try this at home and how it works out. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.